This is a video about personality and being. Hello, this is Wake Up with a video about personality and being. My wife always tells me that my personality has not changed much and that I have still limited thinking, which is perfectly true because the soul or the consciousness is not about personality. Personality development is finished with green and yellow. That's it. Then you have your personality, and you can still change some programs in your personality and do personality and character development and so on. But this has nothing to do with being awake or enlightened or conscious or in being and so on. Consciousness starts with not taking your personality seriously anymore. So your programs will still happen, but you won't mind. You're not identified anymore. And there's a parallel experiencing of something else. Your focus is not anymore on your personality and how your personality perceives everything and everyone, but there's a beingness that is also happening parallelly and that is much larger than this very focused knot of personality, of ego. Yeah? The ego, the personality, is a focus. All the energy, all the awareness is focused on one aspect of reality or Maya. Yeah? It's not really a real reality. Well, awakening or being or isness or observing awareness, whatever you want to call it, that is just happening, and an observing is happening, but mainly a happening is happening. You're not doing it anymore. You don't have the delusion anymore that you are doing it or that you are perceiving it, that there's a self that is involved. The self is there, but is independent from the big thing that is happening. Yeah? It's not that you're not the center of the universe or your perceived universe anymore. Usually everyone thinks he or she is the center of the universe and the most important person, and that your own needs are more important than the needs of others. This is gone at some point. A personality is still doing its tantrums and has its hopes and fears, but once you stop taking it seriously, something else starts to unfold, something that has been happening all the time but in the background. Now the ego goes into the background and the happening, the isness, goes into the foreground, and there's a connection. That's the difference between being and personality. You will never get rid of your ego or your personality, but it's possible to see that you are not limited to your personality. It's only an aspect, it's a small part of what's happening. What's really happening is something very large, and your ego is not very important. It's part of everything, but it's only a speck. And the interesting thing is to see what is happening. The big picture. Why are people looking for a blissful, happy state full of love? I call it the fluffy flamingo, because we read about it. It's very hard to actually find someone who actually experiences this all the time. Yes, everything is love, and you can experience that in a mystical experience, but no one stays in a mystical experience all the time. We're not made for being in permanent bliss all the time. I've never met any awakened or enlightened being who doesn't freak out now and then. There are some people who apparently have lost their ego completely, but if you know them personally, you see that there's some vestige left, and be it some cultural influence. If you're just spending some time with yourself, no problem, but as soon as you interact, So you have to wear your ego suit. You have to wear your dog or your mind body thingy or your flamingo or whatever you call it. One of you recently called it a Russian doll, a series of selves, and every inner self is purer and purer. Something that in literature is often called a higher self. I'm not a big fan of higher nor of self. I think self is another word for ego. But of course we have to use some terms, some terminology, some words in communication. Just as we still use words like I and mine, although they're nonsense. So yes, there are different layers of self, and you call them Russian dolls. I like the metaphor, but remember the last doll, the most inner doll. It's empty inside. I read a funny novel once called The Hollow Chocolate Bunnies of the Apocalypse. And I found this horrible picture here on Unsplash, but it's perfectly fitting. It's fake. The bunny is fake. The doll is fake. The flamingo is fake. F for fake. The suit is empty. There's nothing inside. There's no one home. There's only being. Or now, as Eckhart Tolle calls it. Doesn't matter what you call it, but it's happening, and it's happening without you, without your personality. Or my personality, or anyone else's. They're all fake, and it doesn't matter what the personality still does. As long as you know it's a hollow chocolate bunny of the apocalypse. And not you. Okay, thank you. That's it for now. Thank you for watching and listening and subscribing. See you soon. And please leave your comments below about your experiences. Your experiences.